Hello and welcome to another edition of the Wellesley Sports Report. Filling in for Lauren Cuddy this week, I'm your host, Greg Story. Going into last week, 3 teams still alive in the MIAA state tournament. We begin by taking a look at the girls hockey team who went up against Westwood in the quarterfinals. We skip ahead late in the first period when Kaylee Jacobs skates up and is able to find the 5-hole under Megan King to put the Wolverines up by 1. Early on in the second, Westwood looking to extend the lead. And they do here as Kim McGeezy skates up and flips the backhand towards the net. King is there for the initial save, but poking in the rebound is Maddie McEwen to put Westwood up by 2. Wellesley would quickly respond though, as there's a bit of a scrum in front of the net and the puck gets poked back to the blue line. There with a slap shot is Karina Garfield, and she finds the back of the net to cut the deficit to 1. Then with just under 5 minutes left in the second, Wellesley able to tie it up. As from in front of the net, Sarah Goss goes top shelf. We'd have a new game heading into the third. Unfortunately for Wellesley, though, it's Westwood that's able to pull ahead in that final frame as Agizi splits the defenders and goes glove side for the goal. And that would be all in this one as Wellesley is eliminated by the score of 3-2. Unfortunately, that was just the second loss of the season for the Raiders, coming at exactly the wrong time. Well, with a win against North Attleboro in the quarterfinals, the girls basketball team advanced to face Braintree in the tournament for the second time in 3 years. Wellesley media correspondent Rebecca Karen gives us this report.
Well, last Tuesday night, the Raiders' exciting postseason run would continue on the road in the Division I South sectional semifinals at Massasoit College. Their opponents standing in their way to the state finals, that would be their rivals, the Braintree Wants. But to get past the number 2 seed, the Raiders as a team would have to play their very best. But in the first, Braintree's tough defense immediately overwhelms anything Wellesley tries to run on offense. Multiple turnovers help the Wants race out to a 7-0 score, and the Raiders are forced to take a timeout. Quickly trying to regroup, Grace Miller finds Charlotte Bussema for the first 2 points of the game. After a Wants miss, Grace Miller then sneaks past the double team, and the Raiders, with 4 unanswered points, get it to a 1-possession game, 7-4. And while the Wants would go on a 10-0 run of their own going into the second quarter, Wellesley would not quit. Watch as Emma Ivey blocks from behind Rachel Norton's fast break layup, making a statement that the Wants would have to earn every point in order to win. Facing a 17-point deficit to start the third, the Raider Crazies were still there to cheer on their team, hoping somehow they would see another exciting postseason comeback. Looking to senior captains Grace Miller and Charlotte Bussema, momentum finally starts to go their way, with a clutch basket by Bussema and a resounding Miller block on the other end of the court. With 3:43 left in the quarter, Bussema again drives in the lane for 2 more, and Braintree's Coach McDonald takes a timeout. Just seconds out of that timeout, though, Brianna Hurley goes right to the basket, but Grace Miller once again denies the shot. Lexi Jones then finds Bussema in the corner, who then makes a move to the basket, knocking down the jumper. Continuing to provide a much-needed offensive spark for the team, Charlotte's ensuing bucket would cut the deficit to 14. While the lack of fouls being called in Wellesley's favor continued to mount, Braintree's lead late in the game proved too much to overcome. Sadly, despite the Raiders' hard-fought efforts as a team, their exciting postseason run would come to an end as the Wants pulled away with a 57-33 victory. A Braintree win that did not, by any means, come easy, despite what the final score may have been. Seeing the Raiders make it all the way to the sectional semifinals while playing on the road was truly exciting. While individually everyone stepped up, there is no question that team leadership started with the captains, and this year was no exception. Even though this loss was no doubt heartbreaking for the team, add to it the fact that it would also be the last game ever for senior captains Grace Miller, Charlotte Bussema, and Lee Burnson as a Wellesley Raider. The impact each one of you made as a Raider will always be remembered. We wish you the best in your careers. You will all be missed. For Wellesley Media, I'm Rebecca Karen.
So it was up to the boys basketball team to keep Wellesley's tournament hopes alive. They took on Harrogate Division rival Milton at Brockton High School last week. Milton went on a bit of a run in the second quarter. In this one, we see some of it right here as Keon Jones drives lane and tosses up a floater to go. Moments later, Jones from the corner drains the 3. Milton would lead 32-18 at the half. Go ahead to the fourth. Wellesley down 15 when they would finally go on their run. It starts with the big man, Ryan Noel, from the top of the key, getting the hoop to fall. Next trip down, it's Noel again. For three this time, he nails it. And moments later, Matt Lawrence drives and kicks out to Aiden James in the quarter for three, and Wellesley would cut the deficit all the way down to 5. But that's when Milton's Tyler Green drains this three on the other end. That would pretty much be the dagger in the heart for the Raiders. Milton advances, taking this one by the final, 55-39. Milton would go on to lose to Scituate in the sectional finals at UMass Boston the following Saturday. Well, that does it for this edition of the Wellesley Sports Update. We're going to take a brief hiatus and then come back to you in a couple of weeks to preview the spring season. But for now, I'm Greg Story. We'll see you again soon here on Wellesley Media.